Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about how Brandon Routh deserved better as Superman and how the WB keeps disrespecting him. I feel bad for Brandon Routh. He was my second favorite Superman. My first being that of Christopher Reeves and everything. I've liked every live action of Superman we've ever had. Even the Dean Cain version, even though I hate Dean Cain as a person, I liked his Superman. I like Tom from Smallville. I like both the guys from the Superboy television show in the 90s. Okay, I'm back. I had somebody at the door. I forgot what I was talking about, where I left off at. Anyways, I like all the live action Superman. I like Brandon Routh as Superman. Um, he's my second favorite. And the thing about Brandon Routh as Superman is that he was a perfect Superman, but he was cast in one of the worst Superman movies of all time, that being Superman Returns. And the thing about Brandon Routh is that back when he did these movies, he was in his 20s and stuff. And he looked like a younger version of Christopher Reeves. He was like perfect looking casting for the role. During this time, Smallville was on. And he kind of had that look where he was between that of Tom Welling and Christopher Reeves. And so I remember when this movie came out, I'm just like, well, why didn't they just cast like Tom for the role? You know what I'm saying? He's already super boy-ish, in Smallville and stuff. But the thing about DC is they don't like to confuse people and stuff like that. And that's why they didn't cast Superboy, the dude who played Superboy back in the day, and one of the Superman roles and stuff. Anyway, but yeah, so he was like a perfect casting for Superman, but he was in one of the worst movies of them all. Now, what's ironic is he actually beat out Henry Cavill as Superman to, and stuff. And then it's funny because then the next Superman we had was Henry and everything. And so, of course, now there's Tyler on the CW and stuff. I say this about Tyler. I like him as Superman, but he needs to shave that beard. I don't like a bearded Superman. But the problem when it came to Superman Returns is that we now know Bryan Singer is no, not Bryan Singer. What's that? Is it Bryan Singer? The director from the X-Men movies? Whatever his name is, he is a scumbag, and plain and simple as that. He is very controversial. Everything for him allegedly showing up like drunk on the X-Men movie Apocalypse set, from him not allegedly not wanting to film it, for him like missing many days, and the second unit director had to come in and fill in his spot. Everything from what we know now that he knew nothing about the X-Men comics and even told the cast not to read the comics, and allegedly got me too by a former Disney teenager and stuff. The dude's just scummy, and thank God his career is like over. But he was very passionate about Superman. And so people thought, okay, he'll be like a perfect director. Even though his X-Men movies are a hit and miss, people really enjoy them and stuff for what he brought to the table. Now, even though he is a scumbag, he is an excellent director. His visuals, the way his cinematography, all that stuff that makes a good director good, he has that talent, he has that gift. But he made one of the crappiest Superman movies of all time. The reason why it's crappy is nowhere near as bad as Superman 3 or 4, but his movie was just boring. It was just boring and everything. And it's quite a shame because everything about that movie, the visuals, God, I can't even say the acting. I still don't like Kevin Spacey's acting in this, and I don't like Kevin Spacey. He's another scumbag and everything. But the supporting cast, they were all great. The clothes, the just the lore of what they tried to set up, because this retcons the third and fourth movie. The problem with this movie is that other than just being boring, there was no action whatsoever. Superman never gets into a fight with a single person. He never throws a single punch. What the world, man? How can you have a Superman movie where Superman doesn't even punch somebody? Punching people is what he's known for. And like he gets into a scuffle with Lex Luthor, but basically what it is that Lex is on like an island made of like rock and kryptonite, so it weakens Superman from the start as soon as he gets there. And then Lex just stabs him with a kryptonite like makeshift dagger and stuff. And after that, he just keeps stabbing him and the henchmen are like, on top of him and stuff. And you hear Superman scream and cry out, "I'm still Superman, I'm still Superman." Like, what the world, man? They made him look like a punk and everything. And I'm baffled by that. I am truly baffled by that. It's like they made him into the weakest Superman of all time, all because Brian wanted to make is that his name? I'm getting him confused with the other dude from the Rush Hour movies. Whoever directed the first two X-Men movie and X-Men Apocalypse, that director, he said plain and simple, he wanted to make a love story, a romance story. Why? This ain't a TV show. He could have added romance into the movie, but he needed to deliver on the action, and he never did. Now, when it comes to other stuff, one great thing I would say about this movie is we get to see Superman actually save people. Those are the best parts of the entire movie. When, like, the plane that has, like, the shuttlecraft on top of it, when it's flying all up in the air and it's like malfunctioning, it's great to see him save the passengers and stuff. The CGI used in that shot is incredible. The way he flies is incredible. Like the way they had him fly, they had him, I think, levitating on water just to get the feel of like flying and wire work and stuff like that. Like the way it was filmed and choreographed on how he saved like the passengers was just like amazing and breathtaking. Now, some of the CGI in this movie don't still hold up to this day. It looks a little wonky. Some of the CGI is good, other parts it is wonky and everything. Basically, when you see the CGI, like Superman flying from a long way distance, it's kind of weird. You can tell it's CGI. The up close shots are really great. Especially the up close shots when he's flying and you see his face, or you see him floating and levitating, that's always great. The one part where he stopped, I don't know, it was like a terrorist and he had like this gun on top of a roof, a giant machine gun, and he's just firing down the people, and then he sees Superman, and it's a great shot. Superman just walking towards him all calm, and the bullets are bouncing off his chest, and he takes out that pistol and he shoots Superman in the eye, and you see it, the bullet just crunch and like falls down. It's something to behold. It's the way the bullet fell down in slow motion. You see Superman's like reaction. It's great. The scenes where like, Superman is going to save Lois, but he decides to save the people of Metropolis instead. So he has to make that tough decision of, does he save the woman he loves that's in the arms of another man, or does he save like hundreds of people? Well, he saves hundreds of people. And when the city's like breaking apart and rumbling and all this other crap, it was phenomenal. Like you see Superman doing what Superman does best. He's saving individual people, and we really haven't had that in a very long time and stuff. And so, and Brandon's Routh's like facial expressions were great as Superman, especially the scene where Lois, her boyfriend, and their son, or Superman's son, I should say, is in that boat and is drowning, and Superman like dives into the water, and we see him lift it up, and like this facial expression is just great. Like he looks very heroic. He looks like a man that is super, and that's something that Brandon Routh nailed in the facial like department and stuff. And Not to mention when he bust through the island and he lifted it up on his shoulders. It was so heroic looking as he went up into space and just threw it out and everything. Like, it's visuals like that and it's acting like that that really sold that movie. Then there's the scene with him and Lois have, and like, he's getting interviewed and everything, and you can tell she's uncomfortable because she has forgotten about him. She has moved on with her life and everything. And he's been very upset about that to the point where he's almost stalking her. And the sad expressions on his face, like you can tell he really loves her and misses her and wish he never went into outer space looking for his home planet and stuff because the people of Metropolis no longer needs him as a hero. Lois has moved on. He's visually upset about that. In the interview they had, in a way, they floated around like, the city. They weren't even really flying. They were just standing up and they're like, she's on his feet and they're just floating around the sea. That's like very beautiful. And Bryan Singer did a really good job of directing that, but he made a terrible, lackluster, boring of a movie. It had no real action to it. You know, Brandon Routh, my God, he was literally Christopher Reeve's like duplicate in terms of not even heroics, but like the bumbling idiot of Clark Kent. You know what I'm saying? He did that perfectly and stuff. I've never seen a Superman do that yet, where it's just because Christopher Reeves made that iconic. It was so iconic, they started bringing it into like comics and animation and stuff. And Brandon Routh mimic those like the bumbling traits like just perfectly. Like he was perfectly cast as that of Superman. It's just he was in a terrible movie. And and he had to suffer downside of all that and everything. Where Bryan Singer still got to direct other movies and stuff and be his nasty, gross little self. You know, we all know the downfall. What happened to that? We didn't have another Superman movie until how long was it? Probably 10, no, about 9 years later and stuff with Man of Steel. That took a long time. Geez, that movie's been out for a long time. Because I think Justice League came out in 2017. God, that's been a long time. So, wait, did Man of Steel come out in 2010? Or nine? I can't remember. It's been a long, God, it's been a long time. Like you don't realize it until like you start thinking about the math and stuff. But yeah, because of that, the Superman franchise took a hit. Because of that, his career took a bit of a hit and everything. Like we really didn't see or hear from Brandon Routh in a long time. Now he has stated, when he got cast at this movie and everything like that, of course, playing Superman, the flagship of DC, it came with the ego. He thought he was like unstoppable until his movie like bombed. And then, I think his agency dropped him or something like that. And, he got a couple of like TV roles and stuff after that. And he was on a CBS show and that didn't last that long. And then I think he was on another CBS show, I think, and that didn't last that long. And, he did guest appearances here and there. And then he finally got his big break again playing Ray Palmer as the Atom on like the Arrowverse and everything in Legends of Tomorrow. And so people got to see him again, but in a completely different role and acting a completely different way and stuff. And, so the WB did good by that, by rehiring him again and giving him a brand new fan base for a whole new generation. But then they disrespected him again for some bizarre reason. I forget what season of Legends this was, but like his wife came on board on the show, his real life wife, and she played a character on the show and she was part of the main cast. Then the WB decided, okay, we're just gonna fire both of them. Like it was not his decision to leave, but they kind of made it seem like it was until he let everybody know, yo, this was not my decision and everything. And the reason why the showrunners gave is complete like stupid and BS. I believe something went on behind the scenes and the showrunners were just being jerks. They say basically, his story arc came to an end. He's basically just there to help out and fix out, but his home there was not supposed to be permanent. Really, because it seemed pretty permanent to me, because he's been there since season one, and he started off on, I think, Arrow and stuff. So it was set in stone. He was supposed to be there for a good long time, but then who knows what happened? Because we all know what happened on CW Arrowverse shows. There's always drama behind the scenes, just like with Batwoman and Supergirl and all those other shows. Like, why in the world would Stephen Amell leave his show? Why would Melissa Benoist leave her show? You know what I'm saying? They're the heads of the show. Why would they leave? You know what I'm saying? Why would Ruby Rose leave the head of her show? Like, you know what I'm saying? And she's the lead head character and stuff. So, no telling what really went on behind scenes and everything, but it was pretty piss poor of them to fire the married couple. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, well, crap. It's like that was their income, and the show took it away from both. It's not like one was working on one project and the other was working on a completely different show. They were working on the same show. That is their income. You know what I'm saying? And they just pulled that from them, and so that was really crappy. But then, like, the most iconic, ironic, and miraculous thing happened. Like, they brought him back on the Arrowverse to play Superman again. The same Superman from the 2006 movie in that crossover crisis event they had. And, it's a continuation of where his character went. And basically, he killed Lois because the Joker tricked him. It's that Kingdom Come Injustice storyline and stuff. And so it was a combination of that. So he wears like a different suit. He wears like the S symbol on a black background and stuff. And I was so happy and amazed to see him back as Superman. I'm all like, dude, he got to like redeem himself until they screwed him over in the script again. Now, before I go any further, let me just say his Superman return suit. Not only was he in one of the worst Superman movies ever, but he was in one of the worst Superman costumes of all time. First of all, he's a very tall person with and so they put a teeny tiny S on his chest and gave him teeny tiny trunks that made him look very elongated. It made him look very awkward in the suit. Like when you see him in that Superman return suit, he looks very awkward and everything. Because with him being so tall and muscular built, why would they put tiny trunks and a tiny S on him? Then they gave him that huge leather cape. His red was like maroon. It wasn't even really red. And his blue was a weird, like, fluorescent, like, light blue color that just didn't look right with the maroon and stuff. But then we see how he gets to look perfectly in the Arrowverse suit. Everything looks right. It's a giant S. It's appropriate trunks. Like it fits his body like better than that original suit he had. Also with Superman Returns, what time period was that movie set in? Everybody was dressed like they was back in the 1940s, but yet everything was very modern. Like I don't get that. So anyways, so even though it was great they brought him back and everybody got to like see him again, everybody cheered him on, man. People were so thrilled to see him as like Superman again. But sadly, his character was brainwashed. So basically, he's Hawkeye from the Avengers. But it was great to see him fight against Stephen Hecklin's, not Stephen, but Tyler Hecklin's Superman. And I love that aerial fight. Some people say they don't like it. I think it looked great. I think the flying looked great. I think the fight looked great. I don't know what the world people are talking about. So then he got to join the rest of the heroes in defeating the Anti-Monitor, only for them to write him out of it and have Lex take his place because Lex tricked everybody. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you gotta be kidding me. I've been waiting to see this dude be Superman for a long time. He gets to fight the bad guys along with a group of other superheroes, and you take him out to fight to put stupid Lex in there. I was pissed. Then the timeline gets reset, or a bunch of the Earths like merges together, and we see him in a more classic looking Superman suit, and it's great. He's flying off, he's smiling, he's happy. It's a great send off, but they still disrespected him in that episode. And then, they brought him back for another crossover event, basically just to have him talk as Ray Palmer, and that's like it. So I don't understand the WB. Like, they keep bringing him back, only to keep getting rid of him, to bring him back again, just to get rid of him again. And it's getting annoying and everything. But, like I said before, I think he was a really good Superman. People can't seem to like forget that he's Superman and everything. And it's quite a shame because when you ask people who's your favorite Superman, they always go with either Christopher Reeves, Henry Cavill, or Tyler Hoechlin, but nobody ever brings up him. And it's quite a shame because that one movie cause people to not consider him as like their favorite, or that he doesn't exist, and it's quite a shame. In the WB, every time they hit like a bomb or a flop, they cancel those movie projects. He could have had another Superman movie. He had like a 3-picture deal, but because of one bad movie, they're like, nope, let's not keep going in this direction. Now, we've seen them have bad movies before, and they keep on making them. So what's the difference here? And so it's just more of that WB crap they like to pull and stuff, and I hate it. I would love, because since the DCEU, or whatever you call it now, they're going in so many different directions. Nobody really knows what happened, but we know Henry is reportedly back now. Before, he was not, but The Rock pulled his magic, snapped his fingers, and got what he wanted. And supposedly Henry is back full time. So, but since we have three different Batmen, two different Jokers, and all this other stuff, and two different Harley Quinns, why can't we have Elseworld movies? Why can't we have like Henry as Superman in Man of Steel? Why can't we have Brandon in his own set of movies? Why can't we have Tyler have like appear in a movie, or like Tom Welling if he's ever willing to put on that suit? I'm still pissed about him in that crossover event. Because, dude, why? I just want to see you in the suit. I want to see you be Superman. But no, I will get into that one day. Because one day I do want to talk about that crossover event. Because I actually like that episode. But, yeah, why can't we have all the Superman be in one movie and converge in this big multiverse type thing? You know what I'm saying? They're doing it with everything else, so why not this? And why not let him truly 100% redeem himself in like a movie? Well, technically, he doesn't have to redeem himself because, like I said before, he was perfect in that role. But why not give him the respect he deserves and give him like a better movie is like what I'm trying to say and stuff, because like I said, he's already redeemed himself because he was never bad in the role. It's just that the movie was just directed by an idiot and everything. So, I just hate how they disrespected him. I hate how the WB disrespects so many other like of their like stars and stuff. Just because a movie underperformed does not mean you have to cancel it. And they've done that with so many movies, and they've let go of so many actors as a result. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.